Welcome to a Prevent Connect podcast, where we explore the prevention of violence against women. This is a project of the California Coalition Against Sexual Assault.
Welcome, everyone. This is Ashley Klein from Prevent Connect, and I'm really excited to be joined today by Marie Kellemen and Colleen Yeakle of the Indiana Coalition Against Domestic Violence. And Marie and Colleen are going to share a little bit about the new tool that they've developed, which is the Prevention Toybox. So good morning. How are you both?
Good morning. Good, thanks.
Good. So I was hoping that you would start off just by sharing a little bit about how the development of the toy box came about.
Sure. So the toy box came about through our process at the Indiana Coalition of making sense of primary prevention. When we talk about this work, we often say that it represents a paradigm shift as we learn our way through public health prevention strategy and learn our way through what that looks like at the higher levels of the social ecology. As we worked on it and talked about it among our team, we found that we couldn't think thoughts without a marker in our hand. We couldn't feel our way through what we were trying to understand and also explain it to one another without the help of allegories and discussion activities, and Marie's the queen of the Post-it note mural.
I love Post-it notes. Well, that's great.
Say that creating a complete toy box was never our intention. We didn't set out to say, okay, we should create some games and put them in a toy box. But just organically, through different trainings, we created a game here and an allegory there. And one day we realized that we had quite a lot of games and maybe we should share them. And I think one day we were talking about our prevention toolkit and we thought that wasn't a creative enough name. And so someone said, how about a toy box? And thus this was born.
That's great. Well, so can you tell us, who was the toy box created for? Who did you have in mind? Is it for just the general population, or how is it meant to be used?
Right. Super important point. So the toy box is designed for preventionists, for people who are doing this work, domestic and sexual violence primary prevention, but also with the people we partner with on solutions. So the toy box really is not intended as a tool for direct education to individuals that we think might be vulnerable to violence. It's really more for those of us who are working on solutions. Rather than increasing knowledge around risk factors, we want this to be a tool that allows our community partners, our state and national partners to reduce those risks. So for practitioners, not for the general population.
And I would say that it's important to emphasize that these games are useful for people at the national level, the state level, and even absolutely the community level. Anyone who is implementing prevention programming, this is definitely applicable to them.
Great. Well, thank you for explaining that. How do you think, for folks that are preventionists and who are doing this work, how do you think that this new tool can be useful in helping them strengthen the prevention efforts that they're already involved in?
Well, we hope that the toy box will be a helpful tool for helping programs think about opportunities to create new partnerships and really to increase our collective impact through prevention strategies that are focused on shared risk and protective factors between intimate partner violence and multiple other social problems.
Yeah. I think in a way it has strengthened our efforts here at ICADV because it has given us a safe language and a memorable language to keep us focused on doing prevention in a very strategic way, that if you were to interact with us at our office in any given day, you'd probably hear someone asking, so what's your beach for this project, which refers to one of our games, or can we speedy town that problem? It has allowed us to incorporate prevention concepts into all of our work on a regular basis.
Yeah, I think so. I think, like I said, the games represent our efforts to make sense of what higher level strategies look like. I think early on, we recognized kind of the limitation in individual level strategies when those operate alone. But we had questions about, if not individual level strategies, then what? And the toy box provides a lot of opportunities to practice and think about strategies like policy, like changing organizational practices, normative related strategies, and also robust evaluation around these things.
That's great. I mean, and it's so important if we're really going to create this culture change that we need to. We really need to work towards those outer levels. So I love that you've created this tool with that in mind. So I've had a chance to look through the toy box and have loved what I've seen. But for folks who maybe haven't seen it yet, what can they expect?
Well, so the toy box is actually a binder, but it is a binder that contains 5 games that we designed to help preventionists as they envision, implement, and evaluate their prevention strategies. So the first game is Speedy Town, and Speedy Town is a game that really helps people to evaluate kind of the limitation in some prevention strategies that we've all used in the past. So gives a lens through which we can think about things like risk reduction and awareness and individual level education, and then pushes people to think beyond that, to think about built environment and policies and practices. So it creates a lens to think about where we've been generating ideas at the higher levels of the social ecology. And then I think the subsequent games really answer that question of, if not individual level strategies, then what?
Yeah. And the toy box, it contains 5 games, and they really are 5 games that work through the entire lifespan of a project, from planning the project philosophically and just scoping it to actually implementing it and then evaluating it. So there is a game for each step along the way of a project that can really help multiple audiences with their work.
That's so cool. Well, thank you both so much for sharing about the Prevention Toybox that you all have created. And I really hope that people utilize this tool how it's intended and, it helped them in their prevention efforts, moving us further. So thank you both.
Sure, we have toy boxes available, and we can distribute those to people who can make use of them free of charge. So we want to make that resource available.
Awesome. Thank you both so much.
Thank you for listening to this Prevent Connect podcast. Prevent Connect is a project of the California Coalition Against Sexual Assault, with funding from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The views presented on Prevent Connect are not necessarily the views of the United States government, the CDC, or CalCASA. To learn more about Prevent Connect, visit www.preventconnect.org. For more information about CalCASA's mission, or to show your support, visit calcasa.org. That's CalCasa.org.